So what would it look like for you if it were different? If you didn't have that responsibility and if they weren't leaning on you, what would your life look like? What would you be doing?
Well, I would have soared higher.
You think so?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm angry at everybody in my family. I don't like my family. If they weren't my family, it wouldn't be my friends.
70 million in sales and you got $1,972? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
No, the burden on you is the one that made it out. But you've got to be willing to let them fly.
I feel like I do. I feel like they don't like me.
Toni Braxton didn't just become the face of the Braxton name, she became the engine that kept the entire family running. And now, after years of staying quiet, she's finally admitting the truth everybody else tiptoed around. Toni wasn't just a star. She was the paycheck, the stability, and the emotional support system for an entire household. From the moment she could hold a microphone, Toni wasn't simply chasing a dream. She was carrying the weight of everyone else's dreams, too. While the rest of the family enjoyed the spotlight and the perks that came with her fame, Toni handled the pressure behind the scenes, the responsibilities, the expectations, the bills, and the emotional labor, and all that strain. It's starting to show. After decades of being the backbone, the provider, and the peacekeeper, Toni's done pretending everything was perfect. Behind the polished smiles of Braxton family values was a whirlwind of jealousy, conflict, and long-buried resentment. A family so used to leaning on Toni that they forgot she had limits. Lately, she's been specifically calling out Trina and Towanda, not with little jabs, but with serious accusations. She says they crossed boundaries, took advantage of her generosity, and made her feel guilty for not giving more, even after she'd given almost everything. That kind of betrayal doesn't fade, even with fame or fortune. While fans saw sisterhood and humor on TV, Toni was crumbling, emotionally and financially drained, wondering who was really standing beside her. Now, she's finally ready to put the truth on record. Grab your popcorn because this Braxton story is deeper and messier than anyone expected it on the outside. Toni looked untouchable, the voice, the accolades, the glam. But underneath it all, she was exhausted. Long before most people even knew what a Grammy was, Toni was collecting them. She shaped R&B, raised the bar, and built a career that fed an entire family. But while she gave the world her voice, the people closest to her treated her success like shared property. And she's officially done with that. Toni Braxton isn't just an icon. She's a legend. 7 Grammys, 70+ million albums sold. A voice that can break your heart anywhere, anytime. Yet she says after all her hard work, she barely has anything to show for it. Hard to believe, but true.
70 million in sales and you got $1,972? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Let's take it back to where everything began, Severn, Maryland. A tight-knit family of 6 kids, one gospel-singing mother, and big dreams with barely enough money to go around. Toni was the oldest, and when her mom suffered a serious accident that kept her in the hospital for months, everything shifted overnight. Toni suddenly became the caretaker. She cooked, cleaned, fed her siblings, and stepped into a role no child should have to take on. Their father worked long hours to keep the lights on, but the emotional and physical responsibility fell squarely on Toni's shoulders.
13 or 14, my mom, she had a really bad accident. She fell. Her back was really messed up, so she was in hospital a long time. And so I was the surrogate parent for a moment.
Where was Dad?
Working to make a living and 6 kids.
When Toni's career finally exploded in the early 90s with songs like Unbreak My Heart and Breathe Again, the energy at home shifted instantly. Instead of lifting her up, some family members allegedly began treating her fame like an ATM. Toni recently admitted she's been drained, financially and emotionally for years. Rent, she paid it. Car notes, her responsibility. Failed projects, she funded them. She didn't call out specific receipts, but the message was loud and clear. They bled her dry. And while she didn't always drop names, anyone paying attention could figure it out. Trina and Towanda have long been connected to the money issues. Toni says they didn't just want emotional support, they expected paychecks. Meanwhile, Tamar, despite all the public chaos, was the one who showed genuine loyalty. She sang backup for free, helped Toni out, and never asked her for a dime. Toni revealed just how far things went. Trina allegedly sent invoices. Towanda had a paid executive assistant role. But when Toni needed them emotionally, crickets. Even their mother leaned heavily on her, forgetting Toni had her own breaking points that SO when Toni said, I could have soared higher if I didn't have to carry so much. You could feel decades of hurt packed into one sentence.
They weren't leaning on you. What would your life look like? What would you be doing?
Oh, I would have soared higher.
And trust me, the Braxton drama is nowhere near over. What started as Toni's exhaustion is now exposing old wounds, secrets, jealousy, and betrayal that could rip a family apart for good. Toni was a global superstar, sold out tours, chart-topping records, and a voice that shaped an entire generation. But behind the scenes, she was barely staying afloat while trying to hold everyone else up. Imagine juggling fame and finances while your own family is taking advantage of you during your darkest moments. The disrespect she faced when she was struggling, unimaginable. And here's the bombshell. Even after selling over 170 million records worldwide, Toni wasn't anywhere near financially secure. Turns out she earned 35 cents per album. 35 cents. That's barely enough for a piece of gum. She kept a record label thriving while her own pockets stayed empty. She eventually sued the label in 1998, but 8 weeks later, she had to file for bankruptcy again. And no, it wasn't reckless spending. She was stuck in a predatory contract that made her pay back the label for everything. Studio time, wardrobe, hotel rooms, music videos, photo shoots, all of it. She funded her own success and got crumbs in return. The public didn't realize how bad it was until the infamous Oprah interview, the one moment that changed everything. Instead of compassion, Oprah hit her with a cold question. If you're so famous, why are you broke? And the world watched Toni shrink on camera. That interview damaged her confidence and her public image overnight.
That you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this. Because it would appear, and you can explain to us whatever you want to explain to us, but it would appear that even if you don't believe that you got the percentages you felt that you got, you still knew that there was a certain amount of money coming in. Exactly. And you overspent that amount of money.
Well, I was doing math. 1 + 1 is 2 all day long, all across the world.
The blowback was brutal. One day, she was seen as resilient. The next people labeled her irresponsible.
What happened?
Because I allowed all my finances to become everyone else's finances. That's pretty much how I got hit.
Then came another twist. Rumor has it Oprah tipped off Toni's label before the interview, warning them Toni might expose her unfair contract. Instead of supporting a fellow black woman trying to speak her truth, it felt like Oprah sided with the executives who had exploited her. That moment set Toni back years, but she kept fighting, rebuilding her career, her health, and her peace. Until life threw another curveball. In 2010, Toni was diagnosed with microvascular angina and lupus. 2 serious conditions that forced her to cancel her Vegas residency. The job that should have secured her financial future, her insurance covered nothing. Every stage light, dancer, musician, and hotel bill came out of her own pocket. Within months, she was drowning in debt and forced to file bankruptcy again. And then came the IRS. Court records show she owed over $456,000 in back taxes. They threatened her property if she didn't pay up fast, but insiders say the financial mess wasn't just contracts or medical bills. Toni was still paying her family's bills while dealing with her own health crisis.
None of my siblings have helped me take care of my mother to make sure she was okay, except for Tamar. No one said,
Before Vincent.
Before Vince, Mommy's car insurance is due. Let's help Toni with Mommy car insurance.
Every time Toni tried to rise, something or someone pulled her back. When Braxton Family Values aired, viewers saw a polished show. But behind the scenes, chaos. The sisters were fighting over money, mostly because Toni and Tamar earned more than the rest. It got so bad production had to stop filming. Toni even walked off set saying she was done. After everything she's endured, the health scares, bankruptcies, exploitation, and family tension, who wouldn't snap? Toni's still standing short. But the real question is, at what cost?
Because at this stage in my life, I'm exhausted on my sister's behavior.
Emotionally, she's been running on empty for years. These aren't teenagers fighting over who rides shotgun. These are grown women in their 40s and 50s beefing like it's high school. Their relationship has gotten toxic. Blocking each other online, ignoring calls, dodging group chats. The whole thing is fractured. Before Tracy passed, the sisters promised they'd honor her by keeping the peace. But that promise? Long gone. It's worse now than ever. Not one Braxton sister showed up for Tamar's cooking show premiere. Sources say the family had a huge argument 2 days before the event. Then Towanda hopped on social media posting, "To everyone who distanced themselves from me, stay there." Phew, and the wedding drama didn't help. Towanda married her longtime partner, and while Toni and Trina were bridesmaids, Tamar didn't show up. Lines were drawn. Even on the show, tensions were thick. During one scene, someone asked Towanda how she felt about being distant from Tamar, and before she could respond, Tamar said, "Towanda just doesn't care about me." The silence after that said everything. Fans expected healing, but this family is cracking faster than ever.
Matter of respect. I respect where people are. That's just.
Is that why?
It's I respect where people are. I don't engage. I don't pour into certain types of energy. I make different choices in my life. And that's just where I am.
Towanda eventually fired right back, saying, "I don't pour into certain vibes anymore." Translation, she's done. Her priority is her home, her kids, her peace, and her man, period. But behind the quiet exterior, fans now believe Towanda's been strategic for years. She leaned on Toni financially during her divorce, and Toni's energy today feels very, "I was there for you, but where were you for me?" Social media is split. Some say Towanda never liked Tamar's personality. Others call it flat-out jealousy because Tamar's career soared. But this isn't just two sisters arguing. It's impacting the entire family. Even Toni, the glue for decades, has finally tapped out. Some insiders say all this stress is worsening her health. Fans online are heartbroken, saying things like, "We didn't want the Braxtons to return just to fight again. We wanted healing." Sometimes you need a break from family before you break completely. Toni is owed so much, emotionally, financially, spiritually. Another comment hit a nerve. This started with their parents. Their mom created the competition. And honestly, they're not wrong. The roots of this mess go all the way back to childhood. But before diving into that, we have to talk about the one wound that changed everything. Tracy Braxton.
All the time, everybody has a narrative of, we left Tracy behind. We signed without Tracy. Now that part is true, we did sign without Tracy. But the fact is this, we signed in August. Tracy was pregnant with little Kevin. Back in the 90s, you could not be a female and be pregnant.
Because what they said is they want every woman to want to be like you and for every man to want to be with you.
That was it. And honestly, God, me and Trina was like, damn, we don't want to sign. Tracy was like, go ahead.
Tracy's story is where the deepest heartbreak lies. She was cut out of early music deals just because she got pregnant young. That pain stayed with her. You could see in her eyes, even when she smiled through the hurt. Her relationship with Toni was complex, layered with love, resentment, guilt, and sadness. They loved each other, but the scars remained. After Tracy passed in 2022, the emotional tension never went away. It's still sitting in the middle of the Braxton family.
It makes it a little more difficult. Sometimes I wake up every morning and I go, oh, did I dream it? Did I dream it? And I have to remind myself, no, she's gone, but she's been here with us for 50 years. So I try to relish in that moment. And try to smile about it and just be grateful for the time you have. And you have to always remember to be kind to one another. We're sisters, so we're always going to fight. That's what sisters do, okay? It's the rite of passage to fuss and fight, but in the end, we're always there.
When Braxton family values first dropped, fans thought it was a celebration. But exposing private pain on national TV only made old wounds deeper. Every argument, every tear, every silent moment broadcast for the world. It wasn't healing, it was re-traumatizing that at one point Toni whispered, "I don't want to be the strong one anymore." Millions of women felt that. Every big sister who carried a family understood that line. Tamar has been trying to rebuild bridges. But Towanda's silence speaks louder than any post. And with Tracy gone, Toni's realizing life is too short for endless battles. But now the drama is exploding again. Tamar added a major twist to the upcoming season. She brought in Tracy's daughter, Ashley Braxton. This move? It's huge and emotional. Because Ashley once revealed a family secret that shook them to the core at AT16. Ashley said Trina's then-husband Gabe sent inappropriate messages. She told her parents immediately, and they went to Trina, expecting support at AT first. Trina comforted her, but as time passed, that support faded. Then came the blame. Allegedly, Trina even implied Ashley should have known better. A child. Eventually, Ashley says Trina cut her off completely. No calls, no invitations, nothing. Ashley carried that trauma in silence for years. Now Tamar is bringing her back onto the show, not as a cameo, but as a full cast member. Tamar insists it's about healing and letting Ashley know she's not alone. But when production heard Ashley was joining, filming reportedly stopped. The sisters were furious. Some believe Tamar's doing it out of love. Others think she knows it will bring ratings. Maybe both are true, But the truth is, this is the darkest wound in the Braxton family. And it's about to unfold publicly. This isn't just a storyline. It's decades of hurt finally boiling over. This season could bring healing. Or it could be the moment the Braxton family breaks for good. Because when the cameras turn off, only the truth remains. And Toni Braxton has carried the truth and the burden for far too long. So what do you think? Is Tamar trying to heal the family or setting the stage for another explosion? Drop your thoughts below. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives, and click the next video on your screen for more celebrity revelations.